Hello, my beautiful creatives, and welcome back to my art studio. My name is Chrissie B, and I'm a creativity coach, hoping to inspire you to live a more creative life every day. Now, we will be working in our soul books today, but I called this a journal with me video because there's nothing terribly soul booky about this. I'm just going to do my journal in my soul book. And then I've got a couple of things in front of me that I've kind of chosen to use. I have this phrase that's going around and around in my head, and I don't know why it's so overwhelmingly surprising, but it is. It hit me really hard this morning, and it was something that I've known for a really long time, but never actually acted on it. So I want to get it in my soul book as a reminder to take action. Okay, so the thought that keeps going around and around in my mind is, if you believe that your life was your art canvas, your life in its entirety, not just your soul book, not just your art journaling stuff, not just any, actual art canvases that you paint on or whatever. If you believed that your life was your canvas, would you have to make some changes in your life now to make that happen? So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Like, what if my life is my art canvas? What if I want to be painting it as colorfully as possible, and I'm only coloring, maybe my actual art journal versus the whole shebang? So what I thought I would do is I'd go through here, and I thought I'd pull some, these are 12 by 12 scrapbooking papers, and they're really thin. They're one-sided and they're kind of thin, which I like for this because I want to use this as a background. I basically want to create a really colorful background, and I don't really have a plan necessarily yet. I think I might have an idea of something I'd like to do, but I want to kind of just pull some sheets and see if I can make something come to fruition here. I always find that I do better if I art very intuitively, and I don't let myself get too much in my head. But I really want some colorful, I love these black sheets with the, I love it. Kind of like that one too. I don't know if this whole pad is set up to be kind of like coordinated. It kind of looks like it. Kind of looks like the whole shebang might be gorgeous. The sky is the limit. I think I kind of want another, I like this one. It's very colorful. If my life is my art canvas in its entirety, not just my art world, not just my time playing in my art journal, but what if it really truly is like my whole life? Do I need to make changes? Would I have to change things in the way that I live in my home environment? Would I have to change things in my career? Would I have to change things in the way that I dress, or the way that I cook my foods every day, or even the activities that I choose to partake in? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And honestly, to think about it, it's a little bit scary because it's overwhelming. However, I thought what I would do is, an idea is kind of forming in my head. So I want to step back just a little bit, and I'm going to I'm going to gesso my page really quickly with a palette knife. And this is just going to be so that when I color my background, it just gives it something to kind of hang on to, and it doesn't bleed through, the cheapy sketchbook page, because that's no fun. I'm not going to worry about protecting the pages underneath because, well, it's my soul book. It's supposed to get kind of gloopy and messy and yummy and scrumdiddlyumptious, which I love. I want to do kind of a thick layer, but I don't want to do it too thick because I don't use heat tools to dry my art things. So I kind of want to do it thin, but I don't want it so thin that it dries really fast, because I want to moosh my two pages together to give myself some texture. So let's kind of smooth that out a little bit. Smooth-ish, not smooth, just smooth-ish. And now I'm going to do the other side. Oops. Kind of smooth it a little bit-ish. Let's see. Holding that down because I'm doing my sew book chronologically this year, I really am having to deal with the fact that my left-hand side is becoming more and more of a bump the more I do. The further into the book I get, and the other side is flat. So I'm having to kind of combat that a little bit. And I find that my little clamps, my binder clamps, are doing a pretty good job of that. I think we're almost there. Okay, so now that I have a thinnish kind of, a thin-ish versus fat-ish kind of layer, I want to just close the 2 pages together. And I'll set my palette knife into some water. Kind of give that a nice smooshing. Realize on this page where I did the glue stick, it's still a little bit sticky. So I'll have to come back and fix that later. So now let's take the 2 pages and very carefully peel them apart. If you want the page to be a little bit more textured, you can let them sit for a little bit longer. They do have a tendency to kind of tear a little bit, which is kind of what it's doing a little bit. But I like the texture of that, so I'm gonna call that good. I am going to move this out of my way, and then I want to clamp this back again. And I may go set this in front of my heater vent, because it's kind of a cold day today, so it wouldn't do me any good to set it outside. But yeah, let me close this. Now, as fancy schmancy as that is so far, which I realize it isn't terribly fancy schmancy, but I'm going to set this aside and I'll be back as soon as it's dry. Okay, so I'm back. I just made the realization that while my gesso pages are drying, there is something that I can be doing to prep for what I'm considering the next step. And that is, I have chosen a few scrapbook papers, and I really love the various colors in them, especially for the phrase, if you truly believe that your life is an art canvas, do you have to make any changes in your life? Something to that effect. So what I want to do is I want to take the first sheet, and I'm going to use this circle punch, which I love, but I don't use very often. Full disclosure, I really don't. I don't know, does it matter if you do up or down? So I just want to start at one end, and my thinking is this. Now I know how deep this is going to cut. I just want to cut a strip about that size. And I'm going to just keep cutting down about the same. There'll be some waste, but that's okay. This will all be used. I'm going to use it all. But I just want some circles, and I want some circle scraps, which are these little guys. You know, basically gigantic punchinella is essentially what I'm creating here. Okay, so there's some. And I want to do that for how much? I don't know. I don't know if I want to actually cut that off, but I'm gonna kind of make them match up a little bit. So that now I have the holes, and I also have the circles and the holes. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. Okay, well, they're all punched out, and I think I have more dots and more holes than I'm possibly going to know what to do with. But at least for today's project, I will have a lot of options. So we're going to set these aside carefully, try not to damage them. And my little polka dots need to move over. Let's grab my sew book off the floor, because it is now dry. Yay, dry, perfectly dry. And so what I'm going to do now is I want to add some color to the background. And I'm going to do that using some watercolor. And the reality is if this background goes horribly awry and I hate it, it won't matter because I can cover the whole shebang up. Okay, so it is completely dry. And now what I want to do is I want to kind of try out a couple layouts. The first layout I tried was basically using my holes, my strips of holes, to kind of just lay out some kind of a design. And I thought, okay, that would be all right, I guess, but I don't really like it so much. So then what I did was I took my strips and I just chose one of each design and I cut the holes so that they were independent of each other. And what I want to do is I want to lay those out, kind of audition them, so that they're kind of, haphazardly is not really the word that I want, but it's kind of what I'm going for. I want these to be kind of randomly put down. I'm trying to imply colorful movement is what I'm implying. So then my idea is that I'm gonna use some matte medium to adhere this down. Something super simple. So this may take a little while. Perfecto. Okay, so that's where I'm at the moment. Dog hair. Oy. I need to do this in like a sterile room. Maybe I'd deal with less dog hairs. Now, we still have all of the polka dots left. Now I know this is kind of random and it's a little bit crazy, even to myself, but I'm going to take a few of these. I have a ton of them. I will have these for probably years to come. And I want to just kind of put some of these in different places. There, I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a moment to glue these down. And then we are going to let this dry. Okay, so everything is nice and dry, and I'm going to add some shading. Now I have a couple of options. The first three options that I have are these pencils. Let me see if I can get you to see that. They have different colored leads, so they're multicolored leads. Is that how you say that? Yeah. So they are Magic Koh-i-Noor Hartmouth Magic pencils, and I have 3 of them. I actually have 4 of them, but the other one's in my art bag, my travel art bag. So I think I'm gonna try the orangey one because I can. And what I want to just kind of try to see if it'll work is do a couple of shading on the inside of some of my holes, and just kind of get kind of sketchy and just do the one side. And that could be okay. Let me try it on the top instead of the bottom. Like that. The other thing I can try is I have a brown charcoal pencil. It's a Conte Paris Sepia 617. I could try that. My concern about that is I don't want it to come off. Whoops. Well, that's lovely. So even that, I'm not so sure I like that. And then I have my good old standby, my Stabilo All pencil, which I love. Used forever and ever and ever. I have a price tag on it, which drives me bananas. And because of the way they put it on, it doesn't come off very well. Ugh. Listen, art suppliers, do not put your stickers on like that. Some of us go a little postal and can't work until it is off. I know. I am crazy. It's all right. I've accepted it. So what I thought about doing with this would be the type of a shadow. And then taking, you know, just kind of smudging it a little bit. But not just on the holes, but also on some of the circles. See if I can get them to kind of pop off the page just a little bit. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if I like that. To be careful not to get my finger too wet. My dogs are eating right at this exact moment. I don't know why. I thought they were finished, which is why I turned the camera back on, but apparently they're going to munch their little crunchy food right next to me right now. So yeah, I just did some shadowing. I probably would have chosen different background color, which I think I've already said. Or I really should have chosen what I was originally going to do, which was a multiple color. But there's a lot of colors going on here. So what I did was I went to my printer and I printed out my sentiment, my thought. And that thought is, if I told you that your life is your art canvas, what changes do you need to make to fall in love with your masterpiece? Go do that. So I need to hear this and I need to be reminded. So when I forget, I can come into my soul book and I can see this message. And I can be like, oh yeah, aha. So I'm gonna cut this out really quickly. Okay, so I've gotten my words cut out. I've gotten them sort of laid out where I want them. I think that's okay. I think I like that. If I told you that your life is your art canvas, what changes do you need to make to help you fall in love with your masterpiece? Go do that. If you're not sure, that's where you need to go. So I'm gonna use my matte medium again. And I'm gonna grab my matte medium brush, There's actually my matte medium / gesso brush, and which I just cleaned and now I've dunked it back in again, doggone it. So let's just get that adhered down. I'm gonna let this dry, do some doodling around my words, and I think we are really close to done. So let's just kind of mush some of these pieces down that are gonna pop up on me. Just using my finger. And they seem to be drying pretty quickly. So give me a few minutes, I'll be back. Okay, so let's see if I can wrap this up. I'm sure this video is really long. I can feel it in my bones. This video is really long, so I apologize for that. Just wanted to kind of do some scribbly doodles around like I do. Last little bit, which is my date stamp. I'm just going to use some Stays On Black because it's simple, and I'm going to put that right down here at the bottom. March 7, 2018. Yay! So I know that was a long video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the whole thing with me. If you watched the whole thing, I appreciate that. I definitely understand you do not have to. I know this is a different kind of video for me. I hope that you liked it. I hope it gave you at least some ideas on something you could do with your own art journal and with all your scrapbook papers that, if you're anything like me, is just sitting around, taking up space, not really doing anything. And yeah, so that's it for today. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I just am so thankful that you come watch me every day. And if you have any questions or comments, don't forget to let me know down in the comment section below, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.